What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Bacon Decker podcast. Today is the season finale of the podcast. I'm excited, but also really surprised to be at this point already.
Definitely happy that we've been able to put out this will be the 17th episode, but 17 episodes,
Yeah.
And this started, back on Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah.
So just to cover, I guess the summertime is really all we did.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, when we first thought of it, it was a perfect timing, perfect plan to film it, have it ready, and then, as life normally does, everything changed as far as our schedules go and our lives in general, which is cool that we caught it all, because now looking back on it, I think of the story of us, that 3-part, what we wanted to do then and what we want to do now is completely different. It's just evolved so many levels.
Yeah.
And it's a bittersweet moment, I think. I'm super excited for the break, for what's to come. But at the same time, I'm also this is the last video that will be out until November, I want to say 3rd. I think is that first week. But
yeah, definitely a lot that we have done over the past weeks, months, and definitely improved.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have both.
A lot's happened this year for us. I mean, it's not been just you blink one day, it's January, the next it's December. I mean, this is the year 2020. So every week has seemed like an obstacle for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's man, is it already getting to be October, November? Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's finally October, November kind of deal. It's not like it's, wow, we're already in October or something. It feels like, okay, had to switch the battery out on the camera real quick. It seemed to be blinking already. But at least it did it now, not later. So,
anyway.
Yeah, but this year's been different for everybody, and it's been very different for both of us. I mean, you got engaged. I'm getting married. Just our job, our career choices.
We both switched careers. Mm-hmm. I didn't necessarily switch careers, but I guess got promoted, and you moved to a different.
Yeah. It was big changes for both
employer.
Of us. Yeah. But the best one.
Getting those points with the boss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been, like you said, a whole lot to take in. Especially, I keep thinking I can't wait for this to be over. Just because this looming burden of this COVID-19.
Just when you hear the year 2020, you automatically
that's all you're gonna think about. Is God.
Yeah.
What a and hopefully it doesn't go on too much longer. Some people are saying it's going to go into next year, and
I could see it going into the beginning of next year, and then finally settling down.
But I really, they're talking about Halloween's coming up. They're talking about how that's going to affect kids. Halloween. You got to think this is some kid's first Halloween, and he or she can't go trick or treat or whatever.
Yeah. And it's hard for the families too, the parents and stuff. That's. I couldn't imagine having kids right now. I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with that. A lot of the guys at work are dealing with their kids going back to school or not going back to school, and I don't wish that on anybody. It's your kid, whether you believe, the kid.
How it's affecting the people you work with.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think your kids are going to school, whether you believe it's a serious subject or not. It's not something you would want to gamble your kid's life on.
Yeah.
So having them go to school, if they bring it home to somebody. If I go to my grandparents' house, I'm always worried that I might,
give it to them.
Yeah. Even if I'm not really feeling sick, I could have it, and then later on, a few days later, where have you been the past week or two? So I just, it's a very cautious subject and very, I don't know. Just I'm ready for the year to be over. This year hasn't been most planned. But it hasn't been one of my most eventful years, I feel like. So even with everything going on, changing my career, going from being engaged to supposed to get married in May and now married in October, it's just been a very busy year for me. That I'm happy, but I'm also glad to put it behind me.
Yeah, I think the reason it hasn't been as eventful, so to speak, is just because of the restrictions that have been placed on. There's so much more we could have been doing creatively and, things of that nature had we not have to deal with all this COVID stuff. And, I think everybody, no matter if you believe it's a serious issue or not, I think everybody agrees that they're ready for it to be done.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a single person who's like, oh, I actually kind of like this.
Yeah,
I like
it's
being
been a pretty good year
wearing
so
masks
far.
everywhere. No, nobody says that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thinks that. But hopefully we'll see some progress by the grace of God.
Yeah.
We'll see some.
I mean, my channel wouldn't be what it is now though if it hadn't been, because I hadn't even thought about Pokemon cards since I was a kid, and then I stumbled upon them when I was
Pop hunting.
at home. Yeah. Well, yeah, pop hunting led me. A lot of pop hunters open cards as well, and it kind of like led me to like, well, maybe I'll open some, and then here we are. So I mean, I've got quite a collection for somebody who just started this year.
Yeah.
That hasn't really been into it since they were a kid. But I wouldn't have 171 subscribers as of now without the COVID stuff happening. I probably never would have stumbled upon opening cards like on YouTube and making a thing of it. So I mean, there are good things and bad things, obviously, of the year. The break is coming up after this. We will have a bachelor party, obviously for me, and then you eventually, but obviously yours will be after we're back and up and at it.
Way down the road there.
Yeah. Get one married at a time, I guess. Almost.
We gotta take it slow.
And then the wedding is in October, so it's once I get back, I'll have a ring.
Yeah, you'll be a married boy.
I feel like a married boy already.
It's just a matter of the legal contract at this point.
Yeah, we got to get the government involved for it to be official. So.
Yeah, that's what I tell Chris all the time. I'm like, what's the difference between what we have now and getting married?
Well, we've talked about that too. Like, you think you're gonna feel different after getting married? I'm like, I don't think we will, just because we're already living together. We're already, sharing our lives with each other. I mean, she moved here to live with me, and I mean, we do everything together. We focus on our bills together. We decide our plans together. We communicate on all levels of being together. Yeah. So I am excited to have a ring on my finger to be married, because obviously she's got a ring on her finger, so people know. But to me, I still look like a single guy, because I don't just go around boasting it to everybody I meet. But then they ask, I'm like, yeah, I'm engaged. And they're like, oh, that's awesome, congrats. And I'm like, I wish I just had that notification that it's like, leave me alone.
I seen this one meme, and it was like, it was talking about like dads or something, or married men, and they were like talking about how they have a ring to show that somebody actually likes them, or something, that females actually are interested in or something. But that, when you're saying that, that's all I was saying. I was laughing.
I'm just ready to marry her. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for our trip. I hope we get to go. Yeah. Obviously, with all the hurricanes and stuff, we need to make sure our condo is even in shape.
Yeah.
So she said that they haven't contacted us yet, but a lot of places have canceled condo reservations because of the damage. You can't go. So I told her we just need to keep in track, like maybe a week or two before, just check in, make sure everything's still good to go. If we haven't heard something, it's in Panama City, and I'm assuming Panama City Beach has been hit pretty hard. From what we've heard.
Really?
Yeah.
I know like the Atlantic has been hit, and then I think it was like Louisiana and stuff like that.
And see, so I'm wondering if it just caught like the outskirts of it. And some people were saying when it come to our attention, it's like, well, you need to check your condo because ours got canceled. But they're talking about like Gulf Shores and stuff. So I'm like, it's not as close, but it is close enough that need to make sure, just to be on the safe side. Yeah. I'd hate to drive down there and then
be like, you ain't got a place to stay.
Yeah. Turn around and drive right back. That would be not the way to spend the honeymoon.
Yeah, for real.
Because we are driving. I don't mind to fly, but for that kind of trip, I'd rather just drive to Florida. I don't think it's that far.
It's cheaper at that point,
And we enjoy the road trip too. We'll stop if we want to on the way, and if anything catches our eye, or if we want to go anywhere specific on the way, we'll stop. But I don't know about you, but allergies have hit me really hard the past 2 weeks. I took Sudafed right before we started this, just to make sure the last dosage didn't wear off. And I hadn't taken any today, so I had just woken up to get ready and everything. And that's when I decided to take some.
Yeah, I don't know why, because as a kid I never had bad allergies.
Me neither.
But here, since I'm getting to be an old man now, I mean, fall time is the worst allergies for me. We were down in Florida last year, you remember?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was so bad down there. I couldn't hardly do anything. So it wasn't the first day we were down there, but the second day I got hit, and I couldn't even do anything past, like, half the day. Once it got about lunchtime, I mean, my head it felt like somebody just poured concrete in there.
Yeah.
And I had to go back to the hotel room and sleep for the rest of the day.
Yeah, they say if you travel, that's the first thing that you'll notice is like how your body reacts to the different temperature, the different climate. And I remember in Florida, it always felt better for me. I didn't feel as congested or anything like that. And then when I would come back, that's when I got sick.
Yeah.
When we got back from the cruise, I actually was sick the day of. I think it's going from Mexico to on the cruise ship on the way back and then getting to New Orleans. I don't know. I felt awful. The whole drive back, we stopped several times to get medicine. I was drowsy, but not from the medicine, just I was tired, ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I had to drive home. It was a 10.5-hour drive, essentially, from there to here. And just my whole head felt like you said, like concrete in it, almost like I just, as soon as I turned, like I felt groggy, like as soon as I moved or I was driving, and obviously we're on the interstate, so you try to be aware. And so we stopped and got energy drinks. I got me some medicine to try to like knock out the nasal congestion and stuff like that, because I also was feeling nauseous, so I thought I was getting sick, like maybe like a flu or something. But turned out like the next day, got enough medicine in me, we got back, rested, and I felt better the next day. But yeah, the drive home was the worst part of the cruise for sure.
Yeah, I think it's something that has to do with Florida. Like, my allergies are kind of bad here, but in Florida they were awful. But out in Okinawa, I never had problems.
Yeah. Isn't it like if it's dry, isn't it like a dry air, like a dry heat?
Dry air is better for you.
Yeah.
And then Okinawa was not
right.
But I don't know. I guess it was just, I don't know.
I mean, maybe it depends on your allergies too. Maybe you're allergic to certain things here, but not in Okinawa. There's the grass type, the trees, and everything.
I know I'm allergic to goldenrods. Those weird flowers. Well, we're over there taking our engagement photos, right, me and Krista, and the photographer has us sit down in this field, and there's just nothing but goldenrods everywhere. And I was just thinking to myself, like, oh, I'm gonna pay for this.
Yeah.
And surely enough, next morning I'm just, I can't hardly breathe.
Yeah.
Dude, oh, it's awful.
Cats are really bad for me, and I love animals. So like, when I see a cat and they want to be petted, I want to pet them. But if I rub my face around my eyes, they get all puffy, and I mean it just instant like itchy throat feeling.
Yeah.
Hunter, my brother, is the same way. Cats are the worst for him, and he's the same way. He loves cats. He loves animals. So to not be able to interfere or interact with them is difficult for both of us. And a lot of times I just pay the price. I'm like, I'm gonna pet this cat. Like
I'm petting the cat. We'll deal with the
repercussions later.
Sacrifices have to be made.
Yes, for sure. I just can't believe this is the season finale. Like, so much has happened this entire like podcast idea. We went from talking about our past, which I think was very therapeutic and good for both of us, to really
kind of just put out there.
Yeah, and reminisce on
things we
what
did,
brought us here.
How we got to where we are in our friendship,
and then there's other topics that we talked about that made me think about past times in my life, such as like when we talked about our relationships, and I'm thinking how we thought in high school, what we thought was a relationship, and what we thought was dating, and what we planned on doing with our lives. And like every year you change your mentality so much, or week to week for us. I mean, every time we do a podcast, we're thinking something different almost. Like we're like, well, this is going on, and this is really the main priority. And then the next one we film, we're like, well, I really want to talk about this. And we've had more serious topics, and we've had funny topics. We've had like lists.
Fun,
I mean,
so definitely we've tried out different things.
Mm-hmm.
We've experimented with, it's talking to the audience and getting feedback and just a multitude of things. A lot of behind the scenes planning for what we thought. We didn't originally think we were going to have seasons,
Right.
and now we're like, well, that's just the way to go,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's almost like it's still going to be us on the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but it's almost going to be a new podcast,
Yeah,
because we're doing it a little different now.
Yeah, the new
Or
setup
we
and
will.
everything. Honestly, the break is for us more than you guys. I think you guys would come back next week to watch another one, or the week, or every 2 weeks, and nothing would change for you guys for the most part. But for us creatively, and to get in the mindset to make it a good podcast / show almost, we want to make sure we're in the right mindset to give you guys good content. And I think a new setup, bigger space, different ideas will give us the room and ideas for expanding the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we're nowhere near professionals of any type. It's like we're two guys that live in Kentucky, and we're like, you know what? Let's make a podcast. That's what all the cool people are doing.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, we're going to do week to week. And I had mentioned every 2 weeks when we first started, just to kind of see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But then you were like, yeah, let's do every week, because it was like we had a lot of content right off the bat. And then it was like, what are we going to talk about this week? Well, we've worked, and we've come home, and we've seen our significant others, and we haven't hung out since. So.
Well, I think another thing is at a certain point we dropped off the whole, all right, well, we got to have a topic. We got to have a topic. And we just started running with whatever we did that week, and we just go from there. Which we got a lot of feedback saying, hey, we like that better than being topic driven. But at the same time,
we're not
it's hard to
full of adventure.
Yeah, well, it's also hard to just kind of, stay on topic, especially, when we're doing topic driven episodes, we would go off on tangents a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it's easier to not have a topic because we end up going on tangents every time, like the allergy tangent.
Yeah.
It
just come to mind when I sniffed. I was like, allergy. Like I'm tired of breathing. You know? But
so things like that. So it's hard for us to do that because when we start getting into something and getting distracted by something, we can go on.
Yeah. I mean,
once
we
we
talk
find
for
that
hours.
little item that we want to talk about, we'll hold on to it. So if it has nothing to do with the topic, and then somebody's listening to this podcast and like, well, this doesn't have anything to do with the topic,
Right.
then it's kind of frustrating for the audience member. So I think that's why we switched to the way we do it now.
And I think it's more of us than the topics. I feel like what we do now is more of us, like you said, just two guys, best friends, hanging out, discussing their lives. And instead of just talking to each other personally, we put it on YouTube. We put it on the internet for people to also listen to it, and people enjoy it. I mean, we don't get as much feedback on the channel or on Facebook as I have in person. I have like random people at work watch the videos that I'm friends with on Facebook, because if they'll see me post it, they won't like it, they won't comment, they won't subscribe or something, but they'll watch it. And then the next day they're like, hey, so you guys are going to do seasons now. Like the only way, now I thought about, when did we mention seasons in the episode? Like how far did they listen to hear seasons?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, they listened for quite a while. So even if I don't get a lot of feedback through the channel and through the Facebook posts and letting people know, I am getting feedback in person. Like, oh, I see you the YouTube, or
same.
they see the sticker on the car. Every guy that I've worked with so far, they see the sticker on the car, like, well, what does the real Dexter mean? I'm like, that's a YouTube channel. They're like, oh, you do YouTube? Like, it's just unheard of here, really. Like, a lot of people just aren't familiar with content creators.
Well, we are in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is a growing city, but we're still a small city for the most part, and
Very
around
rural.
here there's just mainly either farms or there's factories. You ain't got a whole lot in between,
Yeah.
or restaurants, I guess.
Well, that's what we talked about. Like, what do you do for fun in Bowling Green? You go to eat.
Yeah. Which, I mean, could be the reason why Kentucky is up there on the obesity scale.
Could be.
Because Bowling Green's leading the charge with the whole, we got 1 billion restaurants down here. But
You got like 15 pizza places within the city limits.
Yeah.
It's all different.
all different. They're not just chains, they're local too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely think...
They're opening new Popeyes over there on Nashville Road. Did you see that?
Yeah, right next to the Sonic.
Yeah, I've been driving by it, and I'm just like, what is that going to be? What's that going to be? And then finally they put Popeyes on it. I'm like, I hope to God it's better than the one on Louisville Road.
Yeah,
That's all
that
I hope
one
for.
was not good.
Yeah, and I mean the food's not bad if you can get the food and what you order. Every time's been almost a nightmare experience for us, except for the time me and you went to get our sandwiches. But that's all we ordered. We ordered 2 sandwiches and 2 fries and 2 drinks. I mean, how
And the
hard?
fries were trash.
Yeah, how hard can it be to get that order? But if you change anything from the menu, like, well, can I get mashed potatoes instead of fries or something? You'll most likely either get fries or some other random side. That's been our issues as far as going. But I haven't been since me and you went.
Yeah.
I take that back. I took Gabby to try it because she hadn't had the chicken sandwich yet.
Oh, okay.
I was like, just give it a try. She's like, I just like Chick-fil-A's better. I don't even want to try it. And she tried it. She didn't actually like it better. She liked Chick-fil-A's better. But she gets Chick-fil-A usually weekly.
She works right next to
right
me.
across from it. So it's like one of the go-to lunch places that she goes to. Whereas I'm the opposite. I'm not anywhere near a Chick-fil-A in Bowling Green most of the time. And not to mention the wait is ridiculous. Now the new one they put over there by Sam's Club is not too bad, I've heard, to go in. But when I drove by yesterday, you know how they have that hotel beside it? The whole drive-through line is through the hotel parking lot to get to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the...
Sitting in, it's not hard to get in there if you're sitting in. But the Chick-fil-A over on Cam Lane is just as bad with the line stuff.
Yeah. I mean they have lights.
You go over there at lunchtime, it's backed up onto Campbell Lane, just all the way there.
But that's almost anywhere on Scottsville Road and Campbell Lane once it hits lunch hour. Because there goes the camera for the first time. Hopefully that won't be an issue. That's one thing we are going to look into is getting a
full camera so
Yeah.
that we can
something that records for an hour long without pausing. Even though
cutting or something.
yeah. So we're definitely going to switch the camera. But like Zaxby's, what I was saying before, Zaxby's you can sit in the parking lot at 11. Won't be maybe 2 or 3 cars once they open. They open at 10:45.
Yeah.
But by 12 o'clock, they're lined around the building and they're waiting in the waiting spots to get their orders. That's just how busy Scottsville Road and Campbell Lane is for lunchtime.
Mm-hmm. It's a nightmare. And I was doing pickups on Campbell Lane and off Scottsville Road there, and dude, the traffic yesterday was awful. I mean, it's bad right at about 3 o'clock ish. 3 in between 3 and 4. It's bad on a Friday normally, but I've never seen it that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't even get out into the lane for like 5. I'd sit there waiting for
Bowling Green's getting busier. I've noticed that even though everything's still kind of on lockdown, what is open, people are now kind of getting braver to come out and go places.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's picking up the traffic.
I've noticed a lot of people just aren't caring anymore. They're just they've stopped caring.
Yeah, they've stopped listening to the news and to like what they should be doing or what they don't need to be doing, and they're just like, I'm tired of living in my home.
Yeah.
We've tried to go eat out. I think we talked about this the last podcast, but both times we tried to eat out for dinner Saturday nights, awful. Bowling or Beach Bend had a festival both
LS
weekends.
Fest.
Yeah, Ellis Fest and then Mo Party, which is like the Dodges, Challengers, Chargers. Both Saturdays they had events, so anywhere on Scottsville Road got slammed, but they're only at 50% capacity.
Yeah,
still. So the restaurants can't give 100% capacity for 100% worth of people. Like they're waiting outside. We waited for an hour and a half to eat at Rafferty's just to just have dinner with her dad and her dad's, I'm guessing, girlfriend is the proper term. But just to go to dinner with 2 people. I couldn't imagine like a party of 6, party of 8. You're probably waiting for 2 or 3 hours, or you might have to make reservations. I don't know. But we usually just go to dinner with like a double date.
Yeah.
Or 2 people or 3.
No, it's a nightmare trying to get a seat in a restaurant these days, and the fact that it's killing our tourism industry.
Yeah.
All right, people come to Bowling Green. There's a billion places to eat, but nobody can eat.
Yeah.
Because of that whole rule, and it's ridiculous. I hate it so much.
But my favorite thing is you can't sit together inside, but you can sit outside, lined up or whatever to get in. So I feel like there's just flaws in the issues, and it's just hurting, like you said, hurting the tourism or going to eat, or like those festivals, they're like, well, I'm gonna have to bring food next time because I ain't even gonna try to go eat in Bowling Green because it was so busy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just kind of got off on a, like you said, tangent.
Yeah. That's what we do. We go off on tangents.
But usually they're somewhat in the right direction. But when we get done talking about it, we're like, where were we?
Yeah. What were we? What led us to this tangent? We never come full circle. We just like, all right, we can't remember where we're at, so we're just gonna go
start a new circle.
Oh, jeez, and hope we remember that one.
We didn't mention the camera, I know for sure. So we want to get a camera that records for at least an hour long, so that there's not the pause, just so we can stay more on topic.
Yeah, you got to get up and
and think of where we were.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be it's going to be a nicer camera than the GoPro was as far as quality of the video. But it's not going to be, I don't think, anywhere near what this one looks like as far as quality wise. Yeah. It's just, you got to kind of sacrifice one or the other. So I don't want a GoPro again because of the issues we were having, but I don't want a camera like this where it pauses every 50 minutes or something. Right. You know, like I want full hour loop, I think would be plenty because we don't usually run into an hour. And so we might do a bro down trying to figure out the camera if we just go hang out
just
or if we try to knock it out. So
yeah, definitely gonna be fun once we kind of have this break and we've had time to stack up the content, ready to release it and do more things. And as stuff, like we were saying earlier, as stuff opens back up and restrictions get lifted, we're able to do more things.
So the whole break was for me to focus on getting married and saving money, and then and getting a schedule for work. Well, next week I start my new route at Pepsi, so I will have my scheduled 2 days off.
Yeah.
And it is Tuesday, Wednesday for now, and it could be Tuesday, Wednesday for a year. I don't know. He said that they have to rebid. So what they're going to have to do is, since someone's leaving, they can rebid for days off, and then they might get their day switched around, and then I just get whatever is left.
Yeah.
Which would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday. You know, somewhere in there throughout the week. But for streaming wise, I would be streaming Tuesday, Wednesdays most likely. Like actually coming back and streaming like I was there at the end before I switched jobs. So if Tuesday, Wednesday is my stream days, I probably will switch Tuesday video, like the opening, to a different day, and so space it out so you get more content throughout the week for my channel. And then the Bacon Decker channel, we have not. The only thing we know for sure that's rock solid is every other Saturday there'll be a podcast up, but we haven't really looked past that point as far as a schedule for.
Because the bro down stuff is going to be kind of sporadic. We know that just because it's kind of like a vlog almost.
Yeah, so you have to get the time to actually come together and make something. So it's not like we have it planned, like, and we don't have the same days off. So it will be one of those. One of us will probably be working the day of, but we'll make it work. And the Popeyes and Chick-fil-A video did awesome, I feel like, for what it was. It was like, an 8-minute video, us just trying sandwiches, and a lot of people enjoyed that and wanted to go out and try the sandwiches after we tried them. Yeah. So we want to do stuff like that.
With us about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a lot of people like, well, did you like this one better? And you like that one better? I like this one better. And I've had multiple people like, just... and it was in the moment, like, looking back, I would get a sandwich from either one. Like, if you have either one in front of me, it's not like, no, it's got to be Popeyes. I won't get Chick-fil-A. I would eat both. Yeah.
I mean, we did eat both on the same day. Yeah. We felt like crap for it.
Yeah. Afterwards, we were like, we should have just got, like, cut it in half. Half each. But we didn't. So we both had 2 chicken sandwiches and then the fries, and I felt awful. You didn't actually eat all your fries, did you?
No, I gave them to you.
No, that's yeah, to make it worse, I'm just the garbage disposal. I was like, I got some fries left, I'll take them.
Well, I sit there and I'm sure you remember, I was sitting there,
Even when we got back here, after we finished recording and had to upload all the footage, and like we did the whole like dancing thing in the car, and we wanted to see how that turned out, you were just like, dude, I've got to go home and just go to bed. I feel awful. Like,
I just can't eat like I used to, man. I don't know how I ever, like in high school, I would just power down the food like it was nothing.
Yeah.
These days, I'm just like, all right, give me a little bit, and that's all.
I can eat a lot if I'm off, like, but if I'm at work, I usually eat just like a small portion of something. I don't even get a full meal normally, just because that's when I feel miserable. It just grogs me down to where I don't want to work as efficiently.
Yeah, I have to start packing my lunches since I started driving, and I'll pack a boatload of water. I'll have like 5, 6 water bottles in there, and then I'll have a honey bun or some kind of like snack cake. I'll have a protein bar, and then I'll have like an actual sandwich, whether it's like a peanut butter and jelly or like a turkey and cheese or something.
My work schedule normally, obviously, I'm in grocery stores all the time, so my go-to, even back when I was at Save a Lot, was some type of jerky, like either beefsteak, beef jerky, or like a Slim Jim or something.
Yeah.
And then I would get Pringles or the cheddar Ruffles in like the snack size bag.
Snack bag.
And then I'd get a drink, like a Gatorade or Powerade when I used to be at Clark, but I would get a Zero. And that's what I'll have roughly around 10 to 11 o'clock in the afternoon, or in the morning, whatever, that in between time. And then after that, I don't eat until I get home normally. And that drive home, every time I pass a restaurant, I'm like, dude, I don't have to work no more. I'm starving. I want something to eat. And then normally, dinner will be done shortly after I get home, because Gabby gets home about the same time I do. So we make dinner. She makes dinner most of the time. Sometimes I make dinner if I'm feeling like it. But for the most part, she cooks. So the days I come home, she's like, I don't know what we're going to have for dinner yet. And I'm like, oh. So now we got to wait another hour. And then by 6 or 7 o'clock, it's the hangry mode. So I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to eat. I'm starving. I'm about to drive to town to get something because I'm that hungry. Yeah. So,
and town is not close.
No, I mean, it's 15, 20 minutes from my house. That's just to get there, then to order, and then have to drive home. So you're talking almost an hour's worth of effort to go into town to eat. Mm-hmm. Which I'm glad. I'm glad that I don't. She misses it because we used to have delivery options when we lived in Glasgow at her place. But it was almost like it become a really bad habit. Mm-hmm. So we just ordered food a lot instead of actually getting up and making something for dinner, which we enjoy. Our dinners and stuff, we enjoy making dinner and trying new things. Mm-hmm. We just got an Instant Pot. So we tried that out yesterday with a beef roast. Mm-hmm. And it was fantastic. We didn't know how to cook it at first. So the seal wasn't closed right, like the little valve.
Oh, yep.
So it actually just cooked the outside and didn't cook the inside. So once we figured that out and cooked it the right way, it was tough. But the flavor was spot on. I mean, it was cooked within an hour, I think it was. Mm-hmm. A roast, though, for me, I thought it used to take 8 hours in a crock pot. So
that's how I still do it, because I don't have one. I just have the crock pot. So, if I do that, I have to get up in the morning before work and have to do everything, prep it, and throw it in there, and then it has to cook all day while we're both gone at work.
She does this recipe with pulled chicken instead of pulled pork, with sweet baby rays. I'm trying to think of this, brown sugar, and I'm missing another Worcestershire sauce. Mm-hmm. However you want to pronounce it. That's how I pronounce it, and that's how I'm going to continue to pronounce it.
You're not going to convince me otherwise.
And then you mix it all together and you pour it over the chicken, and then you put it in the crock pot for, I want to say 6 hours, 6 to 8. And so, she would get up in the morning, put it on, and then I would get home and turn it off so that it was done. And you just pull the chicken apart, and then you put it on a bun, and it's pulled pork or pulled chicken sandwich. But the sauce is the best part of it. Yeah. Right? So now we're going to try it on the Instant Pot, where it takes, I think, 30 minutes to do chicken, 30 to an hour to make the chicken, pull apart. So we're going to see if it cooks it the same way of the seasoning or the sauce tastes the same. But we put the potatoes and the carrots in after the roast once we realized we cooked it wrong or it wasn't working right. Yeah. And the potatoes were so soft. I mean, you just pulled them apart. They cooked perfectly. I've never had a baked potato or a potato that soft. I mean, it just come apart.
We've been experimenting with the like the HelloFresh and the Every Plate stuff, which is like those meal kits.
Is that where they send them to you?
Yeah, so they send you all the ingredients to make it. And
is it really cheap enough though? See, that's my thing. They're like, well, for $24.99, and I'm like, well, is it enough for 2 people, or are you like eat it and you're like, I'm gonna get a snack in an hour? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that is the thing. So when they send you like a serving, so they do it by serving, right? It is a serving. So when we make it, there literally is just enough to fill up your plate once between me and Krista. And unfortunately, because of her gluten allergy, she can't eat a whole lot of stuff, so we have to be real picky
Gotcha.
with what we get. I mean, it's good food, all right, and the instructions for the most part are
spot on.
yeah, you can figure it out, But the issue is, yeah, for her, we're limited on options, and then you have to cook it, quick. The produce would go bad after like a week or something. So you got to make sure, like, all right, you got to set out the days that you're actually going to make it, and it's hard, because we both get home at like 6, or I get home at 6 and she.
Okay, so one battery flickered, and then the other battery decided to flicker for good. So we're on battery number 3, and hopefully we can finish this out. We were at 38 minutes of raw footage.
Yeah. All right, and then.
I can't remember. We were talking about your meal preps.
Oh,
and you said you only had so much food. To really plan it out.
Yeah, so it's really hard for us to come together at the end of the day and be like, all right, well, do we have the energy to cook, or are we just gonna heat up like a little thing? So, I mean, since I've been getting off earlier recently, I've been able to like come home and cook. Chris is not really allowed to cook much because she tends to set things on fire.
That's I actually started a grease fire the other day. A little bit of grease came out of the pan and it hit the burner and it caught on fire on the burner, and I was like, "Oh, don't panic!" Like the worst thing I can do right now is panic. I'm like, "It'll burn out. It'll burn out," and it did. I was like, "That's the first time I've ever had grease hit the burner," and it like, I was like, "I'm not gonna burn my house down," so I know not to put water on it,
Yeah.
So,
where's the fire extinguisher?
So, but I just I grew up burgers on a skillet. I hate doing burgers inside because of that reason.
Yeah.
I need to get one of those George Foreman grills where you just close it down on them.
So check this out. My mom, she just bought this thing. It's literally called an indoor grill, but it's like it. So it's kind of like a George Foreman, but it has like the top like a real grill does, and it works like a real grill. It's just, she said it's like the greatest thing ever. Cooking on it makes it perfect, just like a normal grill would. So it might be something worth investing in. And then you don't have to worry about the grease popping out because it, has a lid.
That's what we had. I don't think it was actually called a George Foreman growing up. It was like a knockoff version of it. But it's one of those. It's pretty much just a skillet on both sides, or like a waffle maker almost. You just close it, and then all the grease runs down into this little cup at the bottom, and it cooks it evenly on both sides, same temp. So you don't really have one of those like, do I need to flip it now moments. You just it's cooking.
Leave it in there. Yeah. But as far as like the meal prep goes, Thursday. Thursday night I made the recipe. It was honey glazed pork chops, and so what's really neat more than anything is the sauces they have you make for some of this stuff. The honey glaze for it. It's weird making it because you're like, wow, am I burning this stuff? But you're supposed to like basically make it kind of black and sticky because it just makes it taste good. But yeah, it was really great sauce, which after you make the pork chops, which we made them on the stove. But of course, my stove is electric, so I ain't gonna worry about you know. But yeah, so after you cook the pork chops, you make the sauce and the leftover pork chop bits, in the skillet. And then you put in like the honey and like chicken stock and all that. You mix it all up and cook it, and then you just roll the pork chops in it, glazes it. Oh, it's so good. But then
If I wasn't hungry before, and I am now at this.
Yeah, I'm starving actually.
But it'd be cool bro to thing. Get like the meal preps, try like a bunch of different versions of.
Because there's another one that we love getting.
We don't have any allergies, so we could try some of them you're not allowed to.
We always get this thing called the pork carnitas bowl, and it's like ground pork and rice and peppers and all kinds of stuff. Mexican dish, right? Which is always good. And then we also had this. What was it? Sticky sweet Thai chicken, and the sauce we made for that was awesome too. I mean, it's just crazy.
So you're saying it's all in the sauce?
Yeah,
it's
really is.
Like here's 2 slabs of chicken, and here's the ingredients for the sauce that is going to make this chicken pop.
Yeah, That's really all it is. The sides are all right. Most of the time, they give you potatoes, and they just tell you, "Hey, dice these potatoes and stick them in the oven."
Yeah, potatoes are pretty simple. It's
Yeah.
cook until done.
Which Thursday they were ranch seasoned potatoes, so on top of just salt and pepper on them, before you stick them in the oven, you also dusted them with ranch seasoning.
Yeah, a lot of people like that ranch like seasoning packets. I'm not big on it.
Oh, I'm not either.
It doesn't.
It was pretty good.
I love Hidden Valley, but I just don't know about the ranch seasoning. I can't get behind it. Like I've had.
It was really concentrated, really strong.
Yeah, because I've had ranch covered pork chops, like the powdered. Like you put the powder over pork chops and you cook the pork chops.
Yeah.
And it's just a very strong ranch flavor, and it kind of takes away from the meat for me. It gives it a weird taste for me. I'm not big on it. But I like it for the mix. Like you actually make like a ranch dip with it for like vegetables or chips or whatever you want to dip it in.
Right.
That's not bad. But anytime you put it on meat, for some reason it just throws it off for me.
Yeah, I definitely like that idea though. We get like a meal prep thing.
Yeah.
That might be a cool idea.
Or even I mean, obviously you've had MREs, but like, what's one more gonna do for you?
Yeah, right. It's clog me up for a week. That's all it's gonna do for me. Dude, them things, they'll mess you up.
The only ones I've had are the ones we had when we were camping. You remember though? You probably hate yourself now, but back then you're like, "This is pretty good. These are really good." And probably now you're probably like, "I hate those things so much."
Oh, just the processed meat, the dry bread.
Mm-hmm. I remember you were like, "Well, you just put this cheese on it. And cheese is really good. You just put it on the cracker and then."
Well, and I think the reason is it's not too bad. When you have all the time in the world to cook it just right and add all the fixins and make it perfect,
Yeah.
But half the time when, like you're in the military and you're in the field, you're just like, just give me the patty and I'll just eat that. And then, it's not good. But you just do it so you don't die.
I think one of them had coffee in it, didn't it?
All of them come with coffee.
Coffee? Yeah, I thought we made coffee in like the little warming.
Oh, yeah, the percolator?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did that. That wasn't too bad, but it's still instant coffee, so it was...
And one of the guys brought sausage. I can't remember. Was it Dustin? I think Dustin was the one.
Yeah, I
brought
think
sausage.
it was Dustin.
That was the best part of the whole trip that time. It's just like...
Yeah,
we
I don't
made
remember
like a
what kind it
5-course.
was. I think it might have been deer sausage.
Yeah, I don't know either, because it was good though.
Yeah.
And it made the morning. After that, I was like, I don't want to play airsoft. Let's just eat.
Let's just hang out.
Yeah.
We had some good times camping, all right? That was probably some...
We had some bad times camping too, though. We can't say that it was always good and like sunshine and rainbows out there.
Yeah.
There's sometimes it's like I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
I remember, obviously the first time we tried to set up the tent and everything didn't work right. It seems like every time I set my tent up, I always had a rock in my back. Every time. I was like, I'm going to pick that side over there. And when I pick that side, there's that one just jabbing you just enough to remind you that it's not soft.
Yeah.
I could not, I don't know how in the world we slept on the ground out there. Because if I tried to sleep on the ground right now, like for a whole night, I wouldn't be able to move. My back would be so stiff.
Well, one of the great things that was given to me in the military that I learned about were these things called isomats. And they're just that much, padding or whatever, but it's just enough to where as long as there's not a gigantic rock there, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of the guys brought cots. I remember. They just slept on a cot, and I was like, well, that's genius. Like, what have we been doing this whole time?
What was I thinking? Or somebody brought an air mattress. I know somebody did at one point.
I don't remember who it was, but I do remember. Yeah, I think
it was like one of those ones that you pump up with your foot.
Yeah. They slept great. They're like, I'm ready to play airsoft. I'm good to go. And I'm over here with this rock.
I think it was Connor Foster. I almost want to...
I want to say it was Connor Foster, too. I wasn't going to say it.
He's the one who would do it.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't want to say it, but I'm pretty sure he's like, oh, yeah, my dad's got one or something. It's a foot pump, so you just pump it up, like you said.
Yeah.
I could be,
when we
could be
have
completely
him on the
wrong.
Show, we'll have to cover down on that.
And I'm sure all of them remember different times than we do. Because we weren't all together the entire time. Like, they would go off and do something, or we'd go off, and the different teams, different things happened to each side. Like when we played, but then just in general, their experiences of camping probably are completely different than ours. Like they probably don't see it near the way we do.
Yeah.
Other than it was fun, like you said, we have guys all the time ask, man, you remember we used to camp, play airsoft? That was so much fun. And
it was, honestly.
Yeah.
Just
one of these days,
kids, man.
Hopefully, I'll have a Saturday off from time to time, and I would love to get back into it and. It's time consuming, and the sport itself is something you kind of have to stay into to want to go out and do it. It's not like you just go out.
The time.
Also, I don't know about getting shot right now. Like, used to, I didn't mind getting shot every single weekend. But now, I feel like if somebody hit me with a gun too close, I'm going to get a little pissed off. Like, I feel like I'm not going to be my...
They're poking the bear.
Yeah, 16-year-old self. When they don't call hit, and then I'm going to get angry. So I don't know. Because it's an honor sport, you know?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is like, you remember when we were younger, you know, and we're like... Yeah, because there were grown dudes out there playing.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be like, is he not calling his... You know?
Yeah.
And we'd be like... Or, no, they would get mad. The adults would get mad because somebody wasn't calling their hits. Mm-hmm. And you're like, man, why are they getting so mad about that?
Yeah.
But nowadays, you're like, it's not that big of a deal. Just call your hit.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the next game. It's not life and death. But remember the game mode we made, though? It was Juggernaut. It's where I just literally allowed y'all to keep shooting me.
Yeah, well, you were covered up pretty good, though.
Yeah, I burned up is what happened. I had like 3 jackets on. 3 of my jackets on, and then like a uniform top, and then I had shorts and pants on. Like gym shorts and then the uniform pants on, and then my boots and my gloves. So the only place that really hurt was the face, and I had the metal guard.
Yeah.
And then my eyes and stuff. Unless they hit me here or in the neck, I was like, I'm fine. But then every now and then I hit one. I'm like, all right, that got hurt. It's like I don't.
Dude, you remember when we went out to what was it, Bad Karma down there in Lebanon, and we were playing. And we were running through that. We were stacked up on that gateway.
Yeah.
And Hunter Foster shot me in the face.
Yeah.
By accident.
Fired. Yeah.
Scared the crap out of him, and he shot me right. Oh, dude, I'd never been so livid in my life.
I had to fall back, I think, because my gun wasn't working, and then that's when I heard you yell. I could hear it was you, and then like I got up there, and you're like, he shot me in the face. Like,
well, because what I did is I popped smoke, right? I popped the smoke and tossed it out there. And after it built up, I went to run through, and he wasn't looking, looked around, seen somebody coming through this cloud of smoke, and went, pop! Dude, I was so mad. I just remember, that was so much pain. And then the guy that snuck up behind all of us and just killed all of us.
Yeah. I was like, where in the world did he come from?
And shot me all up the side, and I just remember just went down. Oh, man. Crazy times.
Like I said, I mean, that's doing this podcast and going back in time and talking about moments like that is what makes it for me, you know, to reminisce.
The nostalgia is ridiculous.
And I'm really happy with the season. You know, we've obviously had our ups and downs with it as far as cameras or getting together and actually filming it or just in general our topics. Maybe we weren't 100% the day that we filmed certain ones, one of us, but I can honestly say that I'm happy with the knowledge we've learned to do it, and I can't wait for season 2. I think season 2 will be super awesome if everything falls into place. Like I think it's going to, you know, getting the new setup and the new equipment for what we need. That, you know, the camera shutting off back and forth, that won't be happening no more, hopefully. And you know, I don't care if I got to go to Best Buy. But look, I'm retarded. I need a camera that records for an hour. You know, so.
And one that's not too crappy.
Yeah. I need good quality, but I need better recording time. So, I just hope you guys enjoyed this season. I hope you guys are excited for season 2. I mean, do you have anything to really add to it? Like, do you want to say anything to them, or in general, just all together?
Send us feedback on, you know, if you're going back and listening to these podcasts, you know, that you missed or whatever. I mean, we're still monitoring the comments, and, you know, or you can message us on Instagram. Obviously, we're not too active on there.
Will be, though.
Yeah, we will be coming up at this next season. We're going to do more...
Well, essentially running from a business standpoint, as far as the Instagram and stuff goes, we'll start putting some posts that kind of link back to episodes or kind of get you into, like, interact with
in the next episode or whatever. And just kind of... Yeah, I mean, just keeping with the theme of the podcast.
Yeah.
Us being goofy on set or something like that, just to kind of...
I think my grandparents put it best. It's us being us. Like, as far as how they see us, how they know us, we've got to have that in the show and in us. Like, we don't want to turn the camera on and be somebody else. You know, we want to be what makes us us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the whole no topics, us just talking, us like going off whatever we feel like talking about and come to mind, I think has been really good for us, and also getting people involved. So, you know, we don't want to make it something that people feel disconnected from us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I mean, I hate to say goodbye for a month, but I mean,
hopefully we'll come back in one piece. We've got a bachelor party, and then we have a wedding.
we've got a honeymoon.
I've got a honeymoon, and then jump right back into it, honestly.
A whole set to rearrange.
Yes.
So
yeah. It's not going to be a break for us, essentially. It's just going to be, there's nothing going to be uploaded.
Yeah.
But we can't.
We're taking a break from uploading so we can do other work.
Yeah, we can't film in this setup while moving this setup. You know, like there's no like, what we're going to do, like move the shelves over and be like, well, we're back this week and there's nothing behind us. You know, we don't want to do that. You know, it's good to take time off, and I really feel like I need a break as far as just to clear my head and be in that creative space again. To obviously, I've taken long breaks in the past. This is not going to be that kind of
Yeah,
break.
it's not going to be that long.
I'm not coming back in 2 years. It'll be a month. I'm dedicated to that. I'm super excited for it. I think giving us a deadline and a time to come back would be great.
Mm-hmm.
As far as we know, we're going to come back. So, and there's two of us now. You know, used to it was just me driving myself. Now this is like there's two channels. There's two of us. There's plenty of ideas and plenty of momentum going into it that I don't see any reason why I would just be like, nah, I don't feel like getting back into it. You know, I think we're both dedicated to this point that we're going to see this through. Mm-hmm. And I'm super excited for it. And that's all I got to say.
That's it.
Yeah, it's going to be probably right at normal podcast time, but our normal podcast time is all over the place.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching. Thank you for watching the entire season. Can't wait to see you guys in season 2. Again, like William said, just any kind of topics or ideas or anything, if you go back and watch certain ones you maybe missed or didn't listen to all the way through, we'd love to hear about it, and we will see you guys in season 2.
Heck yeah.
See y'all.